Library. We do this show once a month here, but of course September is a very special show. We have a list of state laureates. They will be receiving these honors. We have an international Beat poet laureate. And we have an open mic list back there. Pending time, so if we have time, we will get to you. But we got a big show here. So I'm going to start this like I start all of my shows. This is something I've just started doing. And Kyle, you can bring this back down to If at any point during this show you want to get up, get yourself something to drink, use the bathroom, go outside, please understand that's very welcome. You're not bothering the show. We don't expect you to sit here with sore legs and you want to stretch. So feel free to get up. Our musicians are going to take a couple more minutes, I believe. And tomorrow. So this is part of a 3-day event. Tomorrow we will be at the Noelke Gallery on Main Street in Torrington, right across from the Performance Hub. Forgive me, I don't have the address because I didn't know I'd be making...
Water Street.
What's the address? 15 Water Street. Across from the Hub in Torrington, 15 Water Street. We will be there at what time, Shaw?
2 p.m.
Yeah, and we have some of the same people will be reading, others will be awarded there, and we have an open mic there. Last night, every single chair was filled, so if that's any indication of how it's going to go here today, you people that are sitting are lucky you have a chair, but we have more. So I think I'm going to hand this over here. I don't see our Connecticut Poet Laureate. And dear over there, his family's here. I'm not going to start till your incredibly gifted son gets here. And, so we're going to wait for him. But in the meanwhile, you are in a treat for Zigotane. Took me a while to finally say that right. These are their CDs. How much are these selling for?
$5 a pop, all 4 for 15.
Right.
Wow.
All 4 for 15. It's a show special. And I think with that, I'm just going to hand it over to Zigotane. These guys are awesome. Thank you.
So as Colin said, we just finished our 4th EP CD, and we have a whole series. My wife did the artwork on the cover. It's all painted. They're each 4 different concept CDs. If you're interested, doing all 4 for $15. My name's Ernest Brute. This is Object Echo. If you want to look us up on Facebook or social media, we enjoy your support. We're trying to grow this Zigotane project. We are the avant-garde in the age of autocorrect. We are Zigotane. Experimental pavement marking. My driveway is connected to the Chateau Marmont, where the death grips produced work from within its walls. My driveway is connected to St. Cloud, Minnesota, Florida. A Benedictine abbot who gave his hood to a poor man as a ray of light emanated from his head. My driveway driveway is connected to the Hutchinson River Parkway. My driveway is connected to the wampum factory. My driveway is not connected to London, where the skull of Winnipeg, the bear who inspired Winnie the Pooh, is now on display for the first time ever. My driveway, my driveway, my driveway, my driveway is connected. My driveway is connected to the Navajo Dental Center. Now permanently closed, according to Yelp. Temples. Don't forget to write the poem on Shirley Temples. Often served to children, dining with adults in lieu of real cocktails. Don't forget to write the poem on Shirley Temples. Often served to children, dining with adults in lieu of real cocktails. Don't forget to write the poem on Shirley Temples. Often served to children, dining with adults in lieu of real cocktails. Often served to children, dining with adults in lieu of real cocktails. All right, this one is called Quarter of the New York Times. When it comes to space, every surface area is filled with piles. I can't open my door Peter and the Wolf. Act 1, Scene 1. Start. My old health insurance monthly premium, $432.76. My new health insurance monthly premium under Obamacare, $2. And same or similar coverage in copay? Vastly better. Come over, I'll tell you. Whoa, Obama! Wow. I want to hear about it too, please. You keep your old doctor, dentist, etc.? Yup. Anthem, Blue Cross plan. Wow. It's refreshing to have someone on Facebook not rant about how Obama ruined their life because, you know, he was there when they made all their poor life choices prior to him becoming president. LOL. Thanks for the simple reminder that this is a good thing. I'll be signing up on Monday. Haven't had health insurance for 5 years. Duck, glad you've been healthy. I feel like I'm being robbed by criminals. Remember the 90s before George Bush and we talked about a better world? New age, universal health care without the stigma before everyone was scared about, hated one another. I mean, well, this is kind of what it's like. Peter, would you be willing to take the $430 you just saved and each month donate that to a charitable cause? Or perhaps subsidize someone else's health care costs? Okay, Wolf. Bring it on! What? Flint. Flint! Governor Rick Snyder oversaw the switch of the water supply from Lake Huron to the polluted Flint River. The decision left untold numbers of residents poisoned by lead. They used bottled water for drinking, washing their hands, and preparing food. Parents shuttled children to pediatricians for blood tests. It's so bad now, it can only get better. The people of Flint have a special urgency about leaving. Prepared to sell everything they own to get out. Yet, they are as good as trapped in this poison city. Homeowners have little hope that they'll be able to sell. Even if buyers were to be found, some are finding lenders unwilling to make loans. It's so bad now, it can only get better. Neighborhoods are pockmarked with abandoned homes. Front doors missing and windows smashed. Flint was a city on the precipice long before its water crisis. And now, since the drinking water flowing from their pipes is contaminated, they spend their days dealing with the consequences. It's so bad now, it can only get better. Thank you. We'll be back a little later for 3 more. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Zico's family. Sorry, we were back there doing photo shoots with these. Oh, so I'll do a poem, but I am going to hand over the hosting today because we have a host from Bridgeport coming up from the Poets Realm group every Wednesday. Ernell is the creator of this. A lot of the fine people here in the audience are with them. I highly suggest you get down there. You don't need a poetry workshop. What you need to do is go to Poets Realm and see how they're doing it. But more importantly, to feel the love that's coming out of that place. And it's truly incredible.
Thank you.
So Catalyst will be hosting. Why don't you just come right up? They don't need to hear from you. Mike.
Hi. Microphone.
You want to use the microphone? It's right there.
I can do that. Where's the best place to put that? Is that good?
No. They tell you.
All right, so you want me to help with this?
Can you see?
Sorry, excuse me for a moment. Yeah, it's still falling.
Is it even turned on?
Sure.
Okay, so while they figure that out, how you guys feeling today? You guys good? I was excited when they asked me to host this event because, I mean, we came out here just to kind of feel out the vibe. They've been coming and rocking out with us for open mic, and when we came out here, it was just such a different setting. And I love books, first of all. I've been a reader all of my life. So being around all of the different books and all this inspiration in the room, and then having artists come up and perform, it was just wonderful that they asked me to host, and I was excited. So thank you, Debbie and Howard, for that. Are we situated with the mic just yet? Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm sure. All right, so everybody feels better with the sound?
Yep.
Is that good for the cameraman? All right, so we have quite a few artists coming up today, so I'm just gonna do one piece. I'll let it be my signature piece, and we'll get the show rolling. Hang on. All right, so this is Catalyst. I pushed my way into this realm in spite of some unscrupulous details, something Messiah-like. Mama looks at me like I'm the strangest thing in this world, say I couldn't have come from her, you ain't no child of mine. So it's with that in mind I've been on this journey trying to find where I come from, where it's home, and for goodness sake, where are my kind? Mama, it's fine. I know you hate it when I speak and it rhymes, but I can't help that I have my own God-given sight that shows me that your right isn't always all right. And ease up on that Bible speak, because even Jesus turned that water into wine. Kept that party going for the night. Mama, I need to breathe. You alienate me after telling me it was in love I was conceived. I believed it. Held on to the story of you and Daddy's love. I couldn't place your contempt. Give me a second, y'all. I just need to vent. Because Daddy wasn't nowhere around, and Mama's pain and shame had her blinded and bound. She couldn't see that I was heaven sent. She took to shushing the little girl that would speak of knowledge of this world with no thought on how I knew the things that I knew. I guess if it initiated, the last thing you want is a child that sees the truth. Mama, if only you could have changed your view. Conceived in love means conceived in God, and it was your blessing that I came through you. You always said I could say anything if it was true. That's not how you feel when it's about you. Now that that time is done, Mama, I've got things to do. Mission, life, purpose. Sorry. Mission, life, purpose. Mama, I've got things to do. Created to be a catalyst, there's major reactions to ensue. So you can continue to watch as this child of yours soars, as you consider me strange fruit. From your womb to this world, before that via some celestial route. Dancing with Daddy wasn't what caused your curse, it was the fact that you let the love for human man take root. The forgiveness was granted, so what your halo was slanted. God saw beauty when he looked at you. And Mama, I was the proof. You forgot you had wings, I was sent here to tell you. I find it no mistake I came at a time when you lost sight of yourself. Mama, your faith in God was your wealth. Pinch that and trade it away for simple pleasures to be felt. Silenced and shamed once all the cards were dealt. But had you kept on looking, you'd have seen that's not where the curtain fell. Daddy planted hot air balloon promises, while Mama planted mustard seeds. And although she and I seem like two different trees, I still lean on my faith and know when to seek God humbly on my knees. Maybe one day, Mama will see the God in me. Peace. All right, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you. As artists, sometimes when you don't perform it, you know, you lose a little bit of it. Use it or lose it to everyone in the building. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get things rolling. I'm excited to see what other treats we have in store. So everyone put your hands together right now as we welcome international poet from Greece. And I hope I pronounced this correctly. It's Chrissa Belisavario? Oh, from, I'm sorry? Oh, Belisario. I'm sorry. It's Chrissa Belisario. Put your hands together.
That's you, Chrissa.
I must say something.
I think they
A poem?
want you to.
Okay.
Please.
You know, yesterday I was the last, so well, I will recite you the first poem that it was recognized of my blog poems. I have 4 books. And it was because a man, a great poet in Greece, who is called, his name is Phedon Theophilou, saw my poem and he said, oh, what a great poem. And he put it on his blog, he posted on his blog, which was very known. And I'm really grateful to him. He edited my 2 books, and I owe a lot to him. He's my mentor. So, I will recite it first in Greek. I'm not long. I write short poems. Απολέστην. Τα κόψα όλα. Χέρια, πόδια. Βγάζω μάτια, κλείνω αυτιά. Αίμα, χείλη. Μόνο άλογος. Και ένας χτύπος. Σαν ελπίδα. Μικρή καρδιά. Σαν εφιάλτης. Θα είμαι μόνη μες στο πλήθος. Μισή ψυχή. Ζήσει απάτη. Γεννώ ακόμα. Μα δεν μπορώ να προσφέρω το όνειρό μου. Απολέστη. I'm lost. Απολέστη in ancient Greek. I've cut it off. Hands, feet. I take off my eyes. I close my ears. Blood on the lips. Only pain. And a bit. Like a hope. A little heart. Like a nightmare. I'll be alone amid the crowd. Half a soul. Life's scum. I'm still giving birth, but I cannot offer nowhere my dream. Oresti. poem is written in English. Blue. It was recognized to Women's Cream, last year. Blue. I feel so blue. I reminisce the momenta aurantia, the orange moments. Nothing more painful than nostalgia, than remembering water at the time of thirst, than feeling dry during the need of a storm. Let me feel blue, at least now. It is the only color that is left for me. It is the lake where the golden fishes of lies and rejection, separation and absence can still be alive, showing me the path to the glow of my innocent past. Thank you. Well, I will recite now some of the poems of my fellow poets that they sent to you. They want to be heard. Sorry about the Greek first, but I think that no translation is enough good for the musicality of a German poem. This is my friend Mary Yondi. She's a great poet, and I tried today to set poems that from them that talk about society, etc. Problems where we have many problems in Europe. We have no racism in Greece. There is no racism in Greece. Yes. We are just jealous because we are too poor, and the only one who take something are those who come for like refugees. And we are so poor, we search the garbages to eat. That's aware it was before crisis. Yes, really. I bought it on eBay. Anyway. Άγγιξέ με. Οι βόμβες έχουν ώρα που πέφτουν. Θρηνούν του Λιβάνου οι κέντροι και τον αμάχων το χαμό παράπλευρη απώλεια τη λένε. Τραγούδι πολέμου το τσεκούρι ποιος έχει ξεθάψει. Άγγιξέ με. Χτες είχα στο χέρι μου αριθμό, σημάδι από ναπάλμ στο Βιετνάμ. Με διώξαν από τη σκερίνια στα χώματα κι ύστερα στις Βοσνίας κρύφτηκα το δάσος. Ένωσα τα χέρια μου στις γέφυρες της Σερβίας και έκλαψα τη χαμένη Εδέμ στις όχθες του Τίγριου άγγιξέ με. Αυτό το τραγούδι χαράσει πορφυρούς δρόμους. Δεν θα το πω ποτέ σωστά, είμαι στο λάθος μέρος, τη λάθος στιγμή. Και ο κυνηγός ήταν φίλος σε μέρες παλιές. Άγγιξέ με. Touch me. The bombs are falling long time ago. Lebanon settlers are mourning. Some people name collateral damage the loss of civilians. The war song. By whom has the axe been unearthed? Touch me. Yesterday, I had numbers on my hand skin. Scars from napalm in Vietnam. I survived the persecution from Karinia's land, and then I hid in Bosnia's woods. I hold hands on Serbia's bridges, and I cried the lost Eden on tiger shores. Oh, touch me. This song is drowning bloody paths. I'll never say it right. I'm in the wrong place, the wrong moment. And the hunter was a friend the old days. Touch me. Those I recite are poets that would have helped me during my internet event 2 years ago. It was calling that proposed me to make an event, and because I had no money, I said, I will make an event to the internet. And I called poets to come and offer their poems. I made it on Google on Air. There were almost 40, I won't read them all. There were some poets laureate there too. And they are not beats, but they write like the beats. I think we Greeks are freely speaking in general. Well, this young man, Christos Dimitriadis, is specialized in poetry literature, and he gave us, he's a teacher of English, and also he's an editor and a publisher in the second town of Greece, Thessaloniki. He spoke us about the beats during the event, and he gave me a beautiful poem. I will recite, but because it is a bit long, I will recite it in English only. Nocturnicet. Nocturnicet is the word that is a word invented by the musician Cendric Bixler Zavala to describe an imaginary machine that would lead man to realize and confront problems by stopping the bleeding of the night and allowing only light. Nocturnicet. There are many things that some people do not want to remember, so I write about them. In fact, I write about them because of this. Say, about the dreams people had when they were 16, and now they're gutted and buried in the backyard. Say about the fact that the leftovers they are thrown away in garbage to rot along with their old magazines and their toilet paper are the food of which someone else is deprived. To the other side of the town, or on the other side of the world. Say about modelers who are not in prison, but they are polishing medals and sit in official positions because they mow down people of another race or another religion. Say about loneliness, about the sickly walls of empty houses, when a man is missing, when a woman is missing, the lamp in the throat because of memories that haunt. Say about death, who will beat us all. Then you will understand why people do not want to remember these things, and perhaps why I write about them. Andreas Yiannopoulos, another young poet. He is a bit in Greece. I think I will recite it in English. It is long. No work for days. From his book, it is Oblivion Joe. Truth is that we decide after many years that now we do not live it. This is what we will say after years, the truth. As long as Earth turns around, schizophrenia will be wrapped around and give birth to lies. Feed tigers, feed triggers. It is looking for scapegoats. Answers will evasive. Commands egoism to become harder. Schizophrenia delays the truth. We lose because we fear the now. We had the so what will happen now? We greet it as a castaway does to a life jacket until we suffocate from all the what's done, it's done, let go. This is nothing for us. We will defeat it, baby. And not to care because we are together. After years, we will say the truth, as it happens often in history. The truth does not take long. We kick it away like an empty can of beer, and we hurl it like a boomerang. It will always return to us. The shame is in now. And if now is us, without a question mark, tick-tock, 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 how long will it take ours? Question mark. It depends from us both. Say, it will take some time. Devil has his share. The watchdog will look like a lamp. It will take some. No matter what you say, it will take some time. That's all. The last one, sorry for delay you, but he's also a young poet. He's a big poet, I think, Artemis Moulos. He's working, he's a very brave guy from Greece who left his country and worked to Spain because his country doesn't give him a job. But he contacted us through internet and he was alive in our event. This poem I will recite. It is written in English. I want to cry. My life is so wonderful, so nice and so meaningful. I don't know how I became the perfect example, the prototype of something called happiness. Smiling to death gives me a fake charisma. But I know myself a bit more than I need him. I know that there is a thing that I really miss. Once I had it, but now I need it. I miss crying, like I miss my sister who is far away. I miss the desperate screams for something I wanted too much and couldn't have. I want to cry again and again. I want to liberate all the spread parts of my insane inside. Today, I met myself in the elevator. The one I know and not the one I now explore. He just said hello to me and I got scared. And I said, oh my God, you scared me. I went out to to smoke a cigarette, to think of the reason why I cannot cry. Why we need to be always in love instead of just offering love. Why we try to be fulfilled by finding the ideal exception of every human belief. I want to cry. I pray to God to give me some tears. Please God, you, that you give tears to the poor, to the people that their families die. You, that you leave the children die. You, that you product a lie. Please God, give me some tears, and I will buy you a big condor just to thank you. Please God, don't cry. I'll buy you a big car and a house in a countryside with a huge swimming pool and many slaves to serve you until the very moment they die. I want to read out loud English poetry, but my accent is awful. I want to cry. I want to sing my greatest song, but my voice is shameful. I want to cry. My father never told me he loves me. I want to cry. 100 people died today in a virtual explosion. It's Christmas. I want to cry. The Germans, happy Greeks, and vice versa. I want to cry. Syrians in search of asylum, drowning in the big blue. I hear them cry. I want to cry. It's raining again in London. Oh, dear London, I'm begging you, stop crying. When I was young, I saved some tears in case I would stop crying. I put them inside a small bottle and I left them in a cold place. Sometimes I open my bottle and I hear the sound of misery combined with happiness. When I was young, I saved some years in case I would stop living. Now I fell down from my memory bank. My heart hurts a lot. It feels like a strike. I cross my legs in the shape of a cross. And I pray for my heart to resurrect. Oh, look, family and cry. Look, Mother, F. Can you hear me, Mom? Can you hear me, Dad? Listen, my love. Thank you, God, I'm crying. I'll bring you your presents when I die. I'm so happy now. I feel the air collapsing in fear. This fucking wind is driving me crazy. I'll save some tear in my bottle of tears for a couple of years.
Different perspectives. That last one I identify with strongly. All right, so we have quite a few names on this list here, so I'm not going to delay before you. Everybody show some love as he comes up for William DeVault.
Try to use the microphone. I hate microphones. I'm notoriously bad to them, and they're notoriously bad to me. So, just give me 1 second to set up. As she said, my name is William F. DeVault. The F is for Francis. That was my great uncle I never met. He fell during the Battle of the Bulge. So, taken out by sniper fire. The telegram announcing his passing arrived during his son's 9th birthday party. So, bad things happen. I mean, you live long enough and you don't become numb to pain, but you become aware of it. Everybody in this room has lost somebody. maybe more than once. Maybe they've lost their parents, their children, nothing worse than losing a child. My grandmother, just awful. I lost both my parents and my last grandparent within the last 3 years. But this happens. For those of you unfamiliar with me, I am the U.S. National Beat Poet Laureate for 2017 to 2018. And there's been major questions about where I'm from. And anybody who heard the show last night, I say the internet, because in 1996, Yahoo called me the romantic poet of the internet. So I took that. Put a trademark after it even. Never waste a good sobriquet. But I was born in Greenville Army Hospital a long time ago. We left when I was 6 weeks old. Went out to Alaska. Over the course of the years, I've visited every state. I've lived in, I think, 14 different states. And you can just as easily say I'm from South Carolina, Maryland, Virginia, Michigan, West Virginia, 3 or 4 different places in California, Mississippi, and there's a few others. So I like to think I've got a voice that touches on a lot of things. I do notice we have a few young listeners in the crowd, and I'm very sensitive to the notion of using language. Is anybody going to be offended if I use one dirty word?
Yes.
It's just a thing I do because I don't like to offend the crowd with words. My new book, which just came out this week, it's available on Amazon, both in electronic format and physical format, is called Ragi. And before I get to the poems that are in the official program, I'm going to do one poem out of there called Raku Sept. Raku is a form of pottery, where after casting the pot, you embed it in a burnable material, and then you burn that material, and it produces an interesting finish on the pottery. I had a friend who was a potter, and she did everything in Raku, because she just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. It was okay. I never really got into it that much, but there are people who don't get into poetry, so the heck with them. Every man or woman forges their own chains, alloys of memory and belief, casting stones, casting runes, while whistling tunes without lyrics. A drink of water, a sideways glance, the flavor of sunshine, divine intervention and invention, pretensions and doubts, a fallen leaf displaying evidence of the previous spring, coiled steel with a ruby blue luster, a bluster of politicians and blasphemous preachers, poets, the weavers of memories and moments outside of the present, bound in soundless groans, while everyone else is looking for a messiah, or at least a good fight. I don't know who's drumming, but I like them. I may adopt them. I'm an old man, I can get away with stuff like that. In addition to my regular books, I have 23 books, 6 CDs, and God knows what else out there. I put out a quarterly magazine called Amamancies, which I jokingly call the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition of poetry. If you're a poet, look me up, send me some of your poetry. If you're a model, fine. I've got models from all over the world standing in line to be in it. It's fun. But I believe that romance, eroticism, beauty are all among the great motivators to write poetry. And I can even take poems that have nothing to do about beauty, find the right picture and the right model, and slam them together. So I just thought I'd plug that. This book, I'm going to get up here and plug this. Mr. Wade, he's selling these books. These are the official books of the Poet Laureates this time around. And all the state poet laureates and all the local poet laureates and the national poet laureate and the international poet laureate have stuff in this book. It's a really good book. The reason I didn't bring my new book was I didn't want to compete with this, because he deserves all praise for putting this together, because I know how hard being an editor can be. That's something only crazy people do. But I'm going to do a few of my poems out of the book as a way of plugging the book, and if you hate the poem, then don't buy the book. And if you like the poem, then buy the book. And if you buy it this afternoon, come up to me before we all leave, and I'll be happy to sign it for you. I'll sign it on whichever poem you want. I'll sign it under somebody else's name. I like signing stuff. The first poem I'm going to do, I tend to give a little intro to my poems, so you know what they're about, so I set the stage. And this first poem is called Vodka and Condoms. I have an old friend, her name is Jasmine. We've known each other for years. We've never even kissed. But we talk a lot on the phone when she has problems. And one day she said, you need to come out and visit me sometime. I said, what do you mean come out and visit you? She said, bring vodka and condoms. She's about 5'11", Hispanic, gorgeous, and I was like, you didn't mean that, did you? And she didn't. But she was just very pissed off at that moment. And when I did a recording for one of my CDs, I actually had her record herself whispering, bring vodka and condoms.
Wow.
And laid it in the background.
Nice.
So, bring vodka and condoms, she said. I heard her say it in a sotto voce whisper, rough with fear and hunger, like a cat in heat in a cage, wanting something she couldn't ask for in simpler terms, because the words have sharp edges. Nothing more than someone to tell her what is expected of her between the courses of life, when she just wants to be wanted, as we all do, under the influence of vodka and condoms. 2 years ago, the first time I worked with these nice people here, and I'm a trivia buff. I read everything. And I found out a long time ago that a certain poet with the last name Bukowski and I share a birthday, August 16th. But also I found out that he was born the exact right year that if Captain America was real, his sidekick could have been Bucky Bukowski instead of Bucky Barnes. So I wrote this little poem 2 years ago for the Beat Poetry Festival. Word-slinging superhero sidekick, fighting for freedom and the occasional bender. Born on my birthday, not the 4th of July, but he would have been about the right age at the right time, and how the history of the war might have been different with Bucky Bukowski teaming up with Captain America, going against the flow, coming in low, then exploding in an expletive-laden flurry of word punches that got the thought across to the enemies of free speech, with the right to remain anything but silent. Now, those of you who hate my usual stuff, good time for you to go to the bathroom and get something to eat. I'm going to give you a couple of my classic, long, meandering, projective, romantic poems. If you don't like them, oh well, I have the microphone. I collect gems, precious gems. It's a hobby of mine. And my favorite is the pinkish orange sapphire known as paparacha, which literally means lotus blossom in the morning. And it has a great romantic history to it. And there's a female of my acquaintance who I nicknamed paparacha. Now you'll often find I've given nicknames to women and I never tell you who they are. And you can go through all my poems, and there's thousands of them, and never figure out who they are. But we have had an on-again, off-again relationship, and I keep telling her one day I'm just going to wander off to the desert, and she'll know where to find me, but no one else will. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. The path broadens, then narrows. Stone to clay, to dust, to grass, to stone again. When the sun is at the right angles, I can see the long-neglected spires of home. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. When the wind blows, it is from the south. When the rain falls, it is from the skies. When the sun rises, I can see the edge of a world I have never comprehended. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. Vacant streets, save for the occasional ghost of seasons and reasons long past and cast aside, a bride of dust, a pride of trust forgotten. I am home now, and there is much to do. Home. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. The trivialities of other lesser cities, pale purgatories to one who has lived where the gemstones pierce the night and shed their light on the dreams of lovers. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. Find your way to me when you can and will. I will clear out the upper levels of the palace and lay new stone by my own hands, black marble for the bare feet of acolytes who have fled. Home. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. I hide in the open, so only the blind miss me. The tumbling weeds and hungry hornets pass by and acknowledge me not, for I am not relevant in the green waves of prairie grass they inhabit. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. My voice echoes in the violent silence until the echoes find synergy. And it sounds like a multitude, a host of fair airs chanting. And all my words are of you. All my words are true. Home. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. The dust slides on the smooth stone in the wind as the moon illuminates without heat. And I shiver like a frightened child, alone to face the morning with renewed vigor. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. Thrugar, priest, worshipping one of seven, penetration without flesh or even sound, the riddle of Scrimshaw on jigsaw people. The towers shift in spectrum, but retain strength. Home. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. 223 stairs gently curving, and I am undeserving to ascend them empty-handed. But for yet another sack of words, awaiting worms to feed upon me as I lay, sightless and forgotten. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. The lotus blossom minarets whistle in the wind, and I watch the dance of the stars, forgetting years and vows I had made, without malice or regret, for I am caught up in the universe and the sky. Home. You alone will know where to find me. You alone I will not refuse. My Padparasha prison was smoothed by hand and sand and now stands neglected so long, too long. And I am not an agent of rebirth. My muscles will be dust and rust before you find your way here. Oh. I was a little worried that everybody would wander off during that one. So. Because we have 8 billion other poets to read, I'm going to do one more piece and then I'm going to slip away. I had never performed this poem in public. It's a fairly short one. I had a relationship a few years ago. Online relationship is about half my relationships turn out to be with a young lady. And she alone would recognize the source of this title, and I know she's not here tonight, so. But it's called Cantare. So close to heaven, so close. I heard the distant music, so close. Then you danced away like the stars at dawning. Enigma and insult, no anger, sorrow. Free will makes us victims of our own best intentions. The feelings remain trapped in closets, barely visited, except when I need to feel. So close. Please, unless you have some sort of pressing external thing. Stick for the whole program. There's some amazing poets yet to come. I mean, amazing people from about a dozen different localities. And they've all, I always say poetry is not a labor, it's like childbirth. You don't really have to do much except endure the pain. And that's how poetry is. If you're writing good poetry, it's coming out of you, and there's really not much you can do about it except, lay back, rip the sheets, and scream. But that's how poetry occurs. So there's been a lot of people in this room who've done a lot of screaming in private in order to share that pain with you in public. And I welcome you sticking around. Have a great afternoon.
Another round of applause for Mr. Duvall. That actually was the National Beat Poet Laureate from the internet. So give it up for him one more time. All right, and as he said, we do have quite a few people on the list. And right now, we're moving straight for our California Beat Poet Laureate. Everybody put your hands together for Chris Vanoy.
Shot out of San Diego like a cruise missile guided by red laser taillights, fueled on caffeinated elixir and adrenaline at 3 a.m. after 4 hours sleep. Injected steel and glass projectile into a freeway that resembled strings of cubic zirconia and rhinestone. Starred sky revolved into daylight. Morning found me carving circles through Compton. Sun sparkled diamond light into parked car windows on trash-lined, potholed streets. But the old red line station house still stands, safe from destruction by an African-American woman's hand. Spires, watchtowers rise proud, anchored concrete over incessant iron. Needle columns punch defiantly into blue after rain sky. 7:30 a.m. after Watts 1965. After Rodney King 1992. Community Action Council fused multiracial human beings into a movement of one over a breakfast of passionate grits. Powerful fried chicken, intense biscuits, and furious hot coffee. Multicultural psyche collected to bridge bureaucrats who promised everything but dispensed only uninhabited time in spoonfuls of action mixed with bitter herbs and hope. Flashed uptown, neon burning my unsunglassed eyes through brown LA smog. Then I poured into a room where a dark man slept, knew the stripes of injustice because he ate them every day for lunch in his 3-flight Hollywood hotel walk-up. 11 a.m. I climbed up the hill to see the god of architecture, but he wasn't home today. He left his temple in the Carametal dogs who were busy digging in his front yard, holes big enough to run trains through. I complained when they said I couldn't wait. They threw me out anyway. Fortunately, I came prepared with Florida water from the Britannica, which I sprinkled liberally around the Aztec doorpost to keep the evil spirits out. This freeway through LA has my ass dragging on asphalt, racing metal monsters jockey for position. 7 lanes of cars with crumpled fendered smiles on 4 lines of road. Engines belching fossil fuel vapors that paint a thin brown line between sky and sea. Wearily I bulldozed my way back to Dago, my tongue hanging out, panting like a tired lion after chase. Dropped off the package at Hotel 911, 9 p.m., fell exhausted into Soho and almost drowned in a cup of house coffee. I spent too much for gas. They said they're going to pay me next time. Next time I cruise to LA. Just got back from a trip overseas. I went to Stockholm and the bottom part of England. And I wrote a couple poems over there. If I can find them here real fast. How about this one, real fast? Decaf! I don't drink decaf. Give me caffeine. Make me scream as the brown bean bakes in rotating metal drums. Cappuccino on ice. Latte is nice. Espresso my heart. Squeeze it through steam. Let me sip. Caffeine, dripping down thick and strong, dripping down creamed or chocolated, sprinkled with nutmeg spice. Vanilla would be nice. More vanilla, please. Squeeze it out of my napkin, cold but oh so full of caffeine. Give me a coffee bar in my car. I'll put my order in, fill my 2-liter cup to the brim, top with a plop of whipped cream. What a dream! Oh, caffeine, decaf. I don't drink decaf. Someone was asking me what beat was, and this is what came out of that. He asked me what beat was, so I told him beat is not a what, beat is an it. It's jazz blues crying out on a night of moody stars over a city that never sleeps. It's struggling of hard bones and empty bottles. It's dreams left sleeping by the click-clack railroad tracks, and dreams waking on beaches with the taste of last night's drunk still in your mouth. It's calling out your lover's name so loud that it shakes the sky to brightness, then moving through the day with fierce determination. It's living present and feeling the perception that there will not be another day like this ever. It's balancing feathers and driving around the world with stereo blasting through the interstellar air. Its blades spinning through psychedelic movements of wind, powering the light at the end of the world. Its beat children struggling to save a beat planet from plastic bags roiling in a radiated sea. Beat is beat down. Beat is beat up. Beat is life, baby. Beat is when someone takes all you have and then disappears into the fog of missing possibilities and leaves you there crying at a table set for one. Beat is when you don't care anymore that you are beat and you just lean forward and listen to the flapping of your shoes on the hot asphalt of a slow boiling summer's day. Beat is yeah, man. Beat is yeah, man. Beat is yeah, man. Cool, cool, cool. It breaks over you in waves of spent notes, spinning wildly from some musician's pinched-lipped horn. It eats at you like a hungry worm, then wraps around you like a smooth, hot woman on a cool, warm night. Beat is a long, slow cry of distant train whistles at midnight. In the middle of a long, dark dream, it's knowing that you're standing on a path where one journey ends and another one begins. Beat is watching the vapor trails of airplanes crisscross the skies and knowing that you will be somewhere else when tomorrow burns a new experience inside you. It's tapping shoes and nodding heads and wild screams when you can't contain your joy. It's moving your feet that propels you across the floor, then throws you into the arms of a pretty girl while a musician on stage is smiling because he feels it too. So he starts pounding the piano so hard that the sound is flying out through the electric air as a drummer taps his hi-hat of unexplored possibilities. Beat is finding the rhythm in the poem. Beat is life, man. Beat is life.
Yeah.
While I was over there, I got to go to Swansea and see Dylan Thomas's childhood home. And this is what came out of that one. I had been delayed in my travels, retraced my errant steps back up the slow, long hill, stopped when my lungs screamed for air. When I opened the door, the wind came in behind me, a chill of dreams, danced in the corner, then moved across the silence of no clock ticking and asked why I wandered here. A faint line of empty chairs shifted, the inevitable glass half emptied of whiskey rattled on the three-legged table. The bottle of emotion, resting prone on the floor, found my hand around its neck. It whispered its sorrows to me in a sad lament filled with sighs. With a toast for no one who was someone once, this cuddled day found my lips moving over verses of his notebook. The words tasted of sea and ash. As the night disappeared into a sadness of stars that trembled in the raging light. Thank you.
All right, another round of applause for Kristen Noelke. All right, and if I had to mention, this is the book that he was reading from, the Beat Anthology of National and International Beat Poets Laureate.
Nice.
This is available for $15. You can see Colin, and I believe Amy is around. She can help you with these as well. All right, $15 for this, and a bunch of poets in here. That's well worth it. Well worth it.
Only $15?
Only $15.
Just
All right.
down here, and Jamie can help with that.
See, there's a nice gentleman right there. Got the book on display. They're waiting for you. They should be calling your name right now. We've heard a lot of great artists so far, and there's a lot more to come. Also want to just let everyone know the Karma Jar is how Colin and Debbie pay for the musicians and a couple of the other facets of artistry that you've seen here. So if you want to add to the Karma Jar, if you want to, donations. Karma Jar is located in the back. I think it's over by the food right now. Yes, there's snacks. If you didn't know, there are yummy, yummy snacks. There's a whole jar full of pretzels back there that are carbs that I need to stay away from. Please go eat those. And there's grapes and all that other good stuff. All right, I hope you guys are having a great time. We're going to go ahead and keep the show moving. Everybody show some love for our next poet coming to the stage from Colorado. Put your hands together for Annie Salter.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right, I'm going to read from the book too. First poem I'm going to read is called She Would Have Been from Decatur. And it has it's not really an epigraph, it just has an introduction. It says, the Florence Crittenden home was named after the daughter of New York drug maker Charles N. Crittenden. Florence died from scarlet fever in 1882 at the age of 4. Distraught after his daughter's tragic death, Charles founded the Florence Crittenden home to provide shelter for, quote, erring and wayward women. This label referenced the former prostitutes that the New York home first serves, but it was also reflected the widespread stigma surrounding any childbirth outside of traditional marriage at the time, which has all changed now, but I think it was pretty real when I was born in 1950. She would have been from Decatur, but that was before that grim girl, daughter of Roy and Hazel Grimes, met that blonde-haired sailor in from Great Lakes Naval Center, north of Chicago, that sailor all crackerjacked and muscle-defined with his post-war basics, training in the bus station, ready to see the world, his girl, Barbara, Valentine, box of heart-in-hand cherry chocolate and soft centered in her sneakers, felt poodle skirt, all swirl was swept up, smooth as sin, all skin and lips, a coffin to read. The silkiest of satin straight line to the rest of her world. Sat at the same bus station, busting the button off that broken zipper. To the big city, no training for her. Just the basics at the Florence Crittenden home for prostitutes and unwed mothers. Otherwise, she would have just been some other girl from Decatur. This one is called As Stark as Our Scars. I don't love you because love requires, it needs blood and breath to flow, not like a river, not like thoughts. It needs to move, needs a place of refuge from the likes of principal, or even just the ears of the jealous, the prudish, where you seek for their approval with a roll of duct tape. Remove that sticky silver strip, untape me. I don't love you because I jumped ship while you only jumped. Just another of your inflatable sharks, all soulless as a love doll, one made for the fingerless, those over-endowed with scaled eyes and fins. A dark fin, a knife, halves the street between us, demarking our sides. It is flesh, blood, but not flow. Just a block, a clot. I look out and breathe, yes, only a sigh of relief, but I am relieved just the same that I can breathe it, not you. You just close your blinds, turn up the static, and spew chum. I don't love you, because I am already miles away, dark in the dark, deep night in the deepest of night oceans. Even split as we are by the sharp crescent of a moon, still Venus appears, but you only catch a glimpse and lose her. I get up, follow her across the long blue strip, a vain, chill trail beneath the skin of a black sky. Fresh as our flesh, our blood, holy as flow, a shark, stark as our scars. Its edges bending in the cold, just to embrace me. This one is called, wait, it's not really a Colorado poem, it's a New York poem. I have on your sweater, but you say I can only put one arm into one of the sleeves and leave the rest hanging. Trailing uncertainties, I promise you nothing, either except for the promise of massive risk, the debility of desire's deadly disaster, the certain surety of a salty edge of insanity's sting when it slides deep through the defining slice of a suddenly sober skin. As promised, I have no explanation to offer for my heart, and it refuses to look for any beyond being satisfied to sleep, beat by beat across your chest. No, I am not a woman who knows what she needs, even just to live beyond next morning, because no, I don't know. And I won't know until that sun rises. And I will never sort through all of our inevitable wrong turns, looking back to see where it was we lost our way, where it was we became caught up in this current, always headed for casual calamity. All I know for sure is that the mistakes, the grief, yeah, they will be there either way we turn. There is no other direction, no road we can take that does not lead ultimately to ashes. All we can do is choose which skin it is that we want to burn in, whose crazy pain we are willing to wear, whose reality we will allow to ourselves to lie in, or whose truth we will invite to rest still and unquieted, cradled in our laps, our arms. And oh yeah, I do know that your grip on all of this is just as shaky and tenuous as my own. Still, my answer is yes, I will put yours on, easy, close as my own skin, if you will let me. But that's not the real question, is it? The real question is whether together we can bear it, the weight of each other's fears, and no, I don't know. And right now, I don't care. The quiet of afternoons soaked in our sweat and port, music and poetry, or maybe just some old DVDs will have to be enough, as that is what we have here and now. There is no other time. There is nowhere else until, or even if we can ever finally realize that we are, in fact, weightless. Thank you.